Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of God all over the world, this is Young Trailblazers. And of course, this has been brought to you by the amazing Life Lead, but also in partnership with the very young, The Move. And we are here because of young adults all over the world. So wherever you are watching us from, if you are a young adult, this next 1 hour is dedicated to you. And so we love you so much that we created something for you. So just wait there and let's see how this goes. Before I invite the first person on stage, let me also let you know that we happen every Wednesday from 3:30 p.m. East African time. I don't know what time that is in the US or wherever you're watching us from. And you can let us know in the comment segment what time it is where you are watching us from right now. But we happen every Wednesday, 3:30 p.m. This is The Move and Life Lead, bringing you Young Trailblazers every Wednesday. We want to talk about a few things here today, and the things that we're talking about here today are things that will be affecting us or have been affecting us, or we know people who have been affected by these things. Unlike Corona, you might never tell whether somebody is suffering from these things, and I'll be mentioning that in a bit. But let's talk about the movie Batman Begins. You know, I love movies so much, and this is how I would like to start today. Movies are awesome, and they have so many lessons we can learn from. And when I sat down to watch Batman Begins, there's a conversation that is going on there between Bruce Wayne, that is Batman, and Henry. And the conversation goes like Bruce or Batman says, "My anger outweighs my guilt." And Henry continues and says, "Men or people fear what they cannot see." I don't know, in this season of Corona or this COVID, I don't know what it is you are afraid of. I don't know what it is that you cannot see. I don't know what it is that scares you so much and you don't even be able to speak it out. Is it your joblessness? Is it your medical bill? Is it your school? What is it that scares you most? What is it that you don't know? Because that is what scares men most. Some of us have been laid off from work. Some of us don't know when we get back to school. Some of us don't even know when we will have our weddings because COVID is here and none of us knows when it is going away. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And the first story is by a friend of mine, Malvin, who will be sharing shortly, and we'll come back to our conversation. Buckle up. It's gonna about.
Take it away.
Take it away.
All right, guys. And generally,
by a friend of mine, Malvin, is sharing shortly. Come back to our conversation.
Yeah, and we'll be talking. We're talking about mental illness or mental health. And just to begin, the people, or rather, we are in certain state in our life that through whatever we've gone through whatever we've done, through whatever we've grown to do, we have a state on our side. For example, you've been good in school, you've been index 1 from nursery to form 4. You've been a chopi, that is what people call those bright guys, and you always known to have a direction. When you go somewhere, people are easily follow you because they understand you're bright, they understand you are good, and even if you are wrong, people will tend to first lean on your side because they understand you're right. You've been index 1. Simply, that is how we have been brought. So I have a friend of mine who is a very, very good friend of mine, or a brother. I can call him a brother. We were having conversations with him just the other day, and he was telling me, Malvin, I feel so depressed. I feel so bad. If I look back, since lucky enough, we've been with this guy since Raima, since nursery. We've been together in class, nursery, class 1 to 8, form 1 to form 4, same school. We went to MFA together. We were in Tongwe Primary together, nursery together, and we are all there topping each and every day since nursery. If he's number one, I'm number two. If I'm number one, he's number two. We've been growing together with this guy. And some of the things that discourages us is when people outside there in the society look at us and are like, hey, I want to achieve more like Malvin and his friend, how they have achieved. And talking to this guy telling me he's depressed right now. He's tired of faking it. He's tired of believing like he can achieve more. Like he's tired, like he feels like the dream is over for him. It really broke my heart because he's a guy that I've seen him doing great things music-wise. He's done marine. He's a good guy. He's gone to campus, and when I feel like there is a bright future ahead. But because of situations that is going on right now, he feels like there are people, for example, let's say people who are in his circle, maybe they grew together, maybe in neighboring places where he grew, have jobs. He doesn't have a job. He was bright like them, but for him, he doesn't have a job. For them, they have a job. They are well. Just the other day, I was confirming with him at there's a lady who is a doctor. We went together in school with her, but sasa yeye ameachieve more kumliko, and he feels so bad. He doesn't have a job. Family are looking up to him and they're like, Mike, what's going on? We need you to come in. Where's that support you promised us after campus? You'll support us. And this guy is so depressed, and he was talking to me, where is God in this situation? Where can I find rest? You know, and really, we in that moment where our mind are full of things that are yet to be fulfilled, and you feel like, let me just go back. You left alone. You're just sitting there alone, and you're like, it's better dying than being in this world.
It's good that you mentioned that you know, that thought of it's better dying than being in this world. I don't know how many in this group have ever heard about or have ever felt that way, or a friend who just opened up to you and they told you, manze, mi hata sioni haja ya kukua hapa hivi. You know, I'm going through so much and all that. And that is what I would like us to talk about today. And it's good that Malvin has shared that story, because now that helps me introduce our topic of the day. And we are talking about mental wellness. When all this is happening, how do you stay sane? How do you stay sober? How do you keep calm? You know, like Ray did a song, Juicy, with John Legend, and the song is called Drone. You know, when you're drowning, how do you still breathe? How do you relax? How do you stay calm? You know, when God tells you, I got you, and you can see that coming through, how do you stay calm? So we'll be talking to a few people. I'm about to introduce somebody else who will be sharing with us. But guys, let's talk about mental health and wellness. And we'll be talking about, you know, the real, you know, how do you know that you're mentally unstable? How do you know that you're mentally ill? How do you know that you're not, you know, what you're supposed to be, or you're not where you need to be? And how now do we move forward from that place? So stay with us and keep commenting. Let us know whether you know somebody. Now, today's episode is quite a special episode because we would like to know, do you know anyone? You don't have to let us know their names. All you need to do is on the comment segment, just say, I know someone, you know, and there's a team behind the scenes just who will be praying. There's a team of intercessors who will be praying for those needs, even as they come. Those people, those names, and yes, we don't want you to share the names, you know, on social platforms, but it's okay to just say, I know someone. That is what we are encouraging you to do. By doing that, you are standing in the gap for somebody today. But let's talk about mental wellness. Watu wangu wa Zoom, it's good to see you. Gloria, Joseph, you know, Gladys, Lydia, Alex, Zeph, Thome, it's good to see you all everybody who is here. Please also, kauna juamse, you know, just write to us hapo kando. Let us know whether you know someone. Watch a conversation iendelee. Now, help me introduce someone. This guy, I have known this guy for for quite some time, and you know, he will be talking about all this later. Nataka tu asalimie wase, sawa, alafu akae pembeni kidogo. You realize my Swahili changed kidogo, basically because he's spent some time in Tanzania. Pastor Zeph, salimia wadau, and then ushikilia tu kidogo. I'll be inviting you later. Pastor Zeph is our coach, and when he comes to this forum, he comes to help us, you know, grow or get enlightened on what's happening around us and inside us. Pasi.
Yes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I am pleased and glad to be here and to have this conversation. I know we have been talking on the side with a few guys about just wellness and mental health and all that, and I'll be glad to share my thoughts about it. And so good to have you guys here.
Stay tuned. Still to come, an amazing conversation with young adults. So if you're on Facebook and you'd like to be part of this conversation, let us know. Hapo Facebook tuambie ningependa kujoin Mbogi ya Zoom, all right? I would like to join the Zoom community, and we will let you know how you can do that, because now when live stream ends on Facebook, we go deeper into this conversation, you know, on Zoom, and that this will not be broadcasted. So if you'd like to get help, a one-on-one, you know, a basis, you can let us know if you're on Facebook, and we will give you an opportunity to join the Zoom family. Thome, I see you. Uko aje buda? No, uko quarantine?
Niko quarantine na ile uoni ni end chill, unajua. Na iko na font ya Netflix. So
awesome. No, I don't know what that means. Are you trying to, you know, the process with uko quarantine San Francisco?
Niko mbele ya Paris kidogo hapa kwa bridge, unajua.
Alafu naona chill hapo kwa chill, because it's July, it's a chilly month.
Unajua, lakini kuna ka sunset pia kuoneshana kuna brighter days ahead, unajua.
Or ahead.
Yes.
All right. Bro, ukisikia mental health and wellness, what comes in mind? Do you relate, or is it just out there? Ni kitu watu wanasema tu. Do you relate? And sorry, I don't know how this feels like, but if you don't mind sharing, what do you think? Do you know anyone? Are you there? Have you been there? Let's talk.
Okay. When I hear of mental health, thinking at a place where I'm just going through something that really affects me, where I feel something is being blocked from me. And fortunately, yeah, I have been there. I have been there at some point. So say me, I know a friend. Say it's me. I am the friend, you know. Nimekuwa hapo. Yeah. So when you talk of wellness, is just getting to a place where you're whole. Hauna pressure yote, lakini pressure ni lazima. You know, at times it feels like it's not that haiko si mzito sana. It's like you're not really going through it until I think at some point it's when I shared this with my wife, na kaniambia mahali ulikuwa, you know, we cannot take it for granted regardless where you are at. So at times we think tuko sawa, na think I'm there, niko fit, I'm on track, but yet things are not really working out. Yeah.
If you don't mind, what did you share with your wife?
Well,
what was going on?
Yeah, so it happened. I had a very good housemate that we were living with. At that time, I had finished internship in Life Spring Chapel. And so nilikuwa tuko process ya ku level up, going to the next point in life. And so my good friend Temesi, who was one of the housemates, got a wife and moved out. My other good friend Gishimu, then also akaangukia kado mahali, and he moved out also. Akaomoka, yeah, you know, akapata keja bigi, And so Etemesi also went to a huge house, and there's this thing Pastor Eric used to tell us, Eric Aluma, you can only go up, you cannot go down. Alafu unajua tushakuwa kwa 2 bedroom already kama maboys. Sasa mi sikuwa na ile do ya kumanage because we were able to pay for the 2 bedroom because tulikuwa tunachangania do, you know, and so I have now to go to a bed sitter.
You wanted to say that you now needed to buy a house and you didn't have enough money.
Well, that would have been what everyone saw it probably, or even going to a 3 bedroom, you know, something like that. And so nilikuwa mina, instead of going up, nilikuwa nashuka chini. So nikaangalia mfuko yangu, I could not afford a 1 bedroom house. Nikaangalia mfuko tena, singe afford bed sitter in a posh place. So I had to get a bed sitter in somewhere, yani place mfuko yangu ingeweza at that time. And so I remember someone actually had to give me money for deposit juu sikuwa nayo. Then I go, all I have is my bed, my clothes. Hata gas sikuwa nayo, sikuwa na kitu yote, you know. We had lived for almost 2 years where everything was, kila mtu mmoja amekuja na gas, mwingine amekuja na ingine, and so you don't see the need to really acquire these things. And so ikafika mahali sasa nimeenda bed sitter, naishi peke yangu. I had to buy some of these things, but then I was just starting business because nimetoka internship, nimeenda job ingine, nimeresign, then niko solo sasa. I have to sort myself, I have to eat, I have to pay rent, and I have to do many other things that money can do for us. And so unfortunately pesa haikuwa enough, mahitaji ilikuwa imezidi pesa, ni maji imezidi unga, you know. And then pastor Reverend pastor, the senior pastor Nairobi Chapel used to say, if you're living at a house that you're paying more than 20% of what you're earning, you're living above your means. Now the house I was living in, what I was paying was 150% of what I was earning. It was actually more, you know. And so I would get gigs. I was starting photography. I would get gigs, ningepata ka graduation, unaambia mtu 5,000, anasema hapana, nilipishe 2,000, you know. So unaenda, and that's the only money I would make in a month, probably 2K, 3K. So there's a deficit to pay for my rent. There's a deficit for me to eat. I don't have money at all. And so I got to a point that I was thinking, manze, this world is just getting out of hand. I'm not able to manage anymore. And then I look back, I think, ninaona sijalelewa mahali hatukuwa na food, mahali hatukuwa na rent, you know. When I look at my siblings, they have jobs, you know, they are doing well. They have jobs here and there, so wako sawa. My parents, if I would call them, najua naweza tumiwa do, lakini at this point I got to a place that I was victimizing myself and saying I'm not loved, where I would say, now everyone goes on with their own life as if I don't exist. It's like I expected someone to just see I needed anitumie do, you know, but I was not communicating. That was the other thing. So ukapata niko mali sasa, ninafika, I would cook. I'm a good cook, by the way. So I would cook my big sufuria of pilau, lock my house, and sit in the house for about a week, even without opening that padlock, without going out. Yani just cutting myself out of people's lives, you know, because I felt, these people don't love me, you know, I'm all alone in this. You know, I have a lot. I have beaten a lot that I can chew. And then thinking now, because before we moved into the 2 bedroom, I had come from my sisters. So I'm thinking, do I go back? No, pride yangu inikubali nirudi, you know. What now do I do? Niko Nairobi, niko solo, siwezi rudi Kitui, that's failure. Juu nilitumwa Nairobi kutoka Kitui nikuje Nairobi kusoma na kutafuta pesa. So I felt like I had failed. Yeah. So that was the moment that I was going through issues where I would just feel, no, I'm not loved. You know, I had a hard disk that I would put movies, just watch. But even when I'm watching the movies, unapata tu siko hapo, you know, I was just disconnected. yeah, at that point I did not realize that I was actually having a mental issue. Nilikuwa naona tu niko sawa, niko bie, ni vile tu watu ndio wako na shida, si mimi niko na shida. That's what I thought at that time. Then tukakaa tu, then somehow God is good, I was able to get out of that. So when I was now sharing with my wife after that, way after that, ananiambia, by the way, unajua hiyo, that's being mentally unwell. While for me, you know, Africans men, we are taught to be tough. So for me it was I'm tough, you know. It wasn't something that actually rose a red flag for me. So I thought I was just okay. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you
It's
very much,
16 hours.
Tome, for sharing. Wow. Oh yeah, it's 16 hours in Nairobi. So you know, you're sharing, and I'm realizing it's so easy for somebody, because I feel like I have been in that place. I feel like I'm in that place every day. You know, I feel like I'm in that place even now. I feel like I'm in that place, yeah, every day of my life. And it's easy to feel like ni hustle to unajua when your parents call you from Shags, or when your friends call you from wherever, you tell them bado tuna hustle. It doesn't hit you that you could actually be going through something deeper than hustle. Ama kutafuta tu, ama kungangana tu. You know that word people use, tunapambana ama nangangana tu. It could be unangangana ku survive, unangangana ku stay alive, because the problem is deeper. And you mentioned something hapo mwisho, that you immersed yourself in entertainment, movies, and I think one way of if there's a business I want to open, is a movie business, the movie business, because I feel like the market is ready. Manze my youth tunawatchigi movie, mtu anawatch series ya 12 episodes na usiku moja. I think I am starting to feel like, or I'm starting to realize feel like they could be sick, or it could be an issue that needs addressing. Thank you very much for sharing. We are glad because, or even I'm glad to say that that is why Pastor Zev is here, because he'll be coming to mention a little bit about that. Because now the problem is, so how do I know that I am suffering? Because I am not coughing, I am not sneezing. I just want to be alone. And once is, if you're an introvert, it's just you're aware of life. You know, so Pasi, if you're listening, I know you'll be coming to talk a little bit about this, and I'm about to invite you here. But let me read some comments here. And even before I go to comments, I mean, Young Trailblazers is a place for you as a young adult. If you're a young adult, this is where you need to be every Wednesday, 3:30 p.m. all the way to 4:30. And do you sometimes feel like your dreams are taking too long? Because the story Malvin shared is a story of a young person who feels like, man, I've tried, I've gone to all like good schools, my parents have put some chums in there, and kuna vile manze dots hazi add up, hii hesabu 1 + 1 is not 2, inakuja 11, it throws me off, you know. Or maybe you are job hunting or hoping to be in at a certain place in your life, you know, even now, but it's not happening. Mixed feelings, emotions, and thoughts start setting in and checking in. When all that is happening, what is going on in your mind? Where is that taking you? Pasi, I feel like we have a giant in the room. How do we go about this? How do I know I am sick? How do I know I am struggling? And I'm reminded of the guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy who actually acted Masks. What is his name? Your movie, a Mask. Don't umse anaitwa nani?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, yeah.
I'm actually remembering Jim Carrey one day confessing that he's actually going through mental illness, you know, and even popular people like that, and even we have celebrities who've done that, or people who have taken roles in films and ended up in actual that place? Is it possible for us to mask for so long until it becomes a condition that we are living with, and we've almost discovered ways of surviving with that? Mental illness kills. You can make a choice today. But before we get there, maybe you're asking yourself, so how do I know I am sick? Pasi, how can I know that I am sick? And what do I need to do? Maybe you can first start with the first one. How do I know I am struggling? You're muted.
Okay. All right. Yes, let me just share something here, and feel free to interrupt me at any point, so that I answer your questions. But yeah, so let's look at this topic, because it's something that I know many people have been asking about and seeking help on. So what is mental wellness in the first place? Because people probably don't understand what we are talking about. And so for me, I mean, what I found out is that mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, and then also can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. That's what the Google dictionary tells us about mental wellness. And so when you are in a position where you are at your best, you are living life in full, when you feel happy about yourself, you have a good self-esteem about yourself, you feel good about people around you, you feel good about your relationship with God, then you are well. But if there's something missing, then that's a problem. And so some of the signs are here, and not necessarily 5, but I think I've added one more. Signs of mental illness: long-lasting sadness or irritability. So you're sad for a long time and you're very irritable. Anything, even if a fly flies across your eyes, you feel like it's against you. I don't know if you have ever felt that. Dante, have you ever felt like a fly is inakukatisia sana?
I mean, ingepitia anywhere else, lazima ingepitia hapa.
Yeah. So there's just that irritability that comes, and then there is extremely high and low moods, and so you have mood swings up and down, and so yeah, saizi unasikia uko poa, then in the next few minutes you feel like the world is against you. You don't feel like living anymore. Yeah, then there's excessive fear, worry, or anxiety. So you're fearing for your life. You're fearing that you are a failure. Things are not working the way they are working. And especially in young adulthood, you're thinking, as Malvin said, you have probably completed college, and your parents paid fees for you, and you don't have a job, and you're not getting one, and yeah, so you're just fearing that you're going to fail. You have worry about your future. You have worry about who is going to marry you, or who are you getting married to, and anxiety, just being anxious about things, about in anything and everything. But the big one is social withdrawal, because at that time you feel you are not useful to anyone, you are just useless, and so you withdraw from everyone else. You block calls, you don't want anyone to call you, you don't respond to messages at all. Yeah, you just see that the world, you are alone. I am so alone. And then there are also dramatic changes in eating or sleeping habits. You either oversleep, or you have insomnia, you can't sleep. You overeat, or you don't have appetite for eating. And so it could go either way. The last one that I have added beyond the 5 that I had before is putting on masks. And I just, as Dante, you are talking about it. The thing is that many times when you feel like life is not going your way, you develop certain coping mechanisms. You begin to learn certain ways of survival. And so you watch movies, for example, like what you talked about. It becomes a defense for you. So you're so immersed in movies, and sometimes you're not even getting what is going on TV. If it is sex, you engage in sex anyhowly, either with yourself, masturbation, or you just find any person, or you go to the prostitutes or whatever. You just engage in things that will, in a sense, pacify the pain that you are going through, because it's a pain. It's a pain that you are going through deeply. And so you begin to just mask all that. It's a mask that you're putting on. Dante, we are together? Yeah, so let's continue on then. There are certain people in the Bible who suffered from mental illness. One is David. And if you read, okay, I was hoping this would be interactive so that you ask me where I am.
I've been speaking, Kumbe, I've been on mute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. So is there something that you'd like to ask, or
yes,
from
please.
what I have just talked about?
Yes, you can go back to the last slide, please.
Okay.
When I look at this blue screen, I feel like this is the kawaida day for a young adult or for a youth. Sometimes we just like to withdraw from social places. Bure tu, hakuna mtu amenikosea, but nasikia nataka peke yangu. Basically because I don't feel like anybody understands what I'm going through. You get? I am worried about a few things. It's normal to worry about sina kazi. I can't just be sina kazi na niko tu nimekaa. I'm smiling with everybody all over. Extreme high and low moods. It feels like na kuna wale watu naitaga ni moody. So how do I convince myself, or how do I know that this is not kawaida, that my moods are extreme? How do I know that nimefika your place here? This is extreme. You need to pay attention to what is going on. Dramatic changes in eating, sleeping habits. It could be just a season I am at in life. What I'm trying to say is that when I look at this, I see myself and I see so many young people in this place. And how do we move from ni kawaida to you need to seek help? Yeah, you can continue. You can have that question somewhere. Maybe you don't have to answer it right now, but just continue. I needed to ask that and paint the life of a young adult, because that is where we are.
Mm-hmm. And the truth of the matter is that sometimes you don't know. You are not even aware of it. But what we will be talking about in a short while can help you know if you're going to extreme, because it's important for you to catch yourself before you go too far. And so just that state of awareness, and we've talked about awareness in the past. That's one of the things that every person, not just a young adult, but adults, but also children, to develop that sense of awareness where you are constantly aware of yourself. And so, and awareness comes by knowing your emotions. But let's look at just some of the examples that we are looking at. David was a man who suffered mental illness. And in Psalm 42, verse 5, he actually expresses it and says, "Why are you downcast, oh my soul?" I mean, when you've reached that particular point where you're talking to yourself, by the way, that's usually another sign where you are constantly talking to yourself and telling yourself messages. And so David was at that particular point where he was speaking to himself, but he was now doing it positively because he needed to process, and that is what we will be talking about shortly. Elijah, in 1 Kings chapter 19, a man after God's own heart, a prophet, a mighty prophet. He has he has declared that there will be famine, and there was famine. And he had a contest where he was alone against several hundreds of prophets of Baal. And then at the end of it, he goes into depression, and he just tells God, "You kill me. I don't feel like living." And so if you go through 1 Kings chapter 19, you will see that he suffered depression in a sense. That's mental illness. Jonah is told to go to Nineveh, and he goes to Tarshish. And God, in a sense, wants to save people, so he makes sure that there's a fish that takes him and delivers him to Nineveh. And so after that, he proclaims what God has told him to do. And at the end of it, the city repents. And then Jonah goes into depression. So sometimes you can even go to depression after doing a good thing. I don't know, for some of you, I have constantly felt that, especially on Sunday afternoon or on Monday. After I have had exploits on Sunday, I have preached myself out. Monday is usually a tough day for me because I'm just feeling I am alone. I have given all my strength. So in a sense, I suffer some mild mental illness. And that is what Jonah went through. And so the point where you see that it is extreme is where somebody says, you can kill me, or I want to kill myself, or I don't care. When you reach that particular point, you know this is extreme. This is getting serious, all right? So Proverbs chapter 27 verse 19 says, as water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. It's important for you to go deeper into your heart. And this is how you begin to deal with mental illness and mental wellness. And so go deeper into yourself, go into your heart, because as water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. So it's important for you to go deeper into the heart.
Wow.
And so we have, Dante, you are saying something?
No, that stood out. What does that exactly mean? As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. What does that really mean?
So the writer of the Proverbs here basically means that when you look at the water, you can see your face, you can see a reflection. And this, we are talking about clear water, clean water. When you look through it, when you look on top of it, you will see yourself, but you will not see deep things in those waters, okay? And so it is important for you to go deeper and find out what is under the water, because you will be safe when you go under the water. So you can be deceived by the reflection that is on top, and yet there are deeper things inside there. And so whatever is on top, go deeper, find out what are the deeper things that I need to go to. And I'll be talking about this in a short while, where we look at the iceberg. The iceberg can actually reflect what I am just talking about now, all right? So give me a moment, I will get there. So there are four main parts of our being, which is the heart. And Jesus talked about this when he said, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and your body. And so the heart is a part of us that believes and wants. And so, as we said, go deeper into your heart. Find out what is it that you believe about yourself. What is it that you want for yourself, okay? And then we have the other part, which is the soul. And the soul is the seat of emotions will, and mind. And so it is where emotions, those are feelings, will, and mind reside. Then we have the mind. The mind is a communication channel for the heart, soul, and body. So it relays information from the heart to the soul to the body. And so that the person, you as a whole being, is well coordinated. And the body is now the temple. It's what contains the heart, the soul, and the mind. And so all these are carried in the body. All right, so let's go back to what we were talking about. When you need transformation, when you want to go deeper into your heart to change whatever is happening outside, because you could be going through mental illness and you're seeing the signs around you, the thing is not to ignore what you're feeling or what you're going through, but to process and go deeper into yourself. Ask yourself certain questions, or allow someone else to come into your life to ask certain questions that will take you deeper, okay? So what you believe and value will influence what you think, and we've talked about this statement before, what you think and perceive. What you think and perceive will influence what you feel, and what you feel will influence what you do, okay? And therefore, if you want transformation, you have to begin then at the bottom. And so you don't change the behavior. You don't deal with the behavior that you're seeing, the overeating, or the smoking weed, or the sexual passion and lust that you're having. And so begin to go deeper than that, because behavior is like the tip of the iceberg. And below behavior, there are emotions. So there are things that you're feeling. You're probably feeling lonely, and therefore you seek for something that will pacify you, help you feel that you're together. And behind that emotion, there are thoughts. And so what are the thoughts that you are thinking about yourself? What are the thoughts that you're thinking about people? What are the thoughts that you're thinking about God? But below that, there is what you believe. And so when you go deeper into what you believe, then if that changes, it will affect the way you are thinking, it will affect the way you are feeling, and it will affect your behavior. All right? So as we said, as water reflects a person, the heart reflects, what was that scripture? Let me just go back to it. As water reflects the face, because the face is what is outside, so one's life reflects the heart. So the beliefs you have, the values you have, they are the things that will affect how you think and how you feel and how you behave. Therefore, how then do you begin to process? Because emotions are the ones that are, in a sense, reflecting what is deep in there. Many times we have been told, ignore your emotions. That is a perilous thing to do, if there's any word like that. It's not the best way to deal with emotions. You don't block emotions. You don't ignore the emotions. You deal with them, you process them, and especially the negative ones. And we have what we use as sachet. Sachet means sad, angry, scared, happy, excited, and tender. So how do you deal with mental wellness? You look at your emotions. You begin to process your emotions. A sense of sadness is when there is grief, there is loss. So go deeper and find out, what is it that I have lost? What is it that I am grieving about? And if you're angry, you go deeper and find out, what is it that is blocking me from where I want to go? First of all, what do I want for myself? And what is it that is blocking me? Okay. And then when you're scared, you begin to look deeper and find out, so what is it that is threatening me? What dread is there? Okay. And most of the time, these three emotions carry the rest of the emotions. They are like the primary colors, the three primary colors we have. Let me not deal with the positive ones, because the positive ones most of the time elicit good behavior. And so it's the negative ones that need to be processed. And so the way to begin to deal with mental wellness or illness in that case is to process your emotions. Dante, are we together?
Yeah, yes, we are.
Okay. So processing emotions, especially the negative ones. Number one, realize that if you don't process sadness, it will lead to depression. Okay? So find out, what is it that I have lost? What is it that is missing in my life? And so that you can get it in the right way. Remember that emotions are not bad. In fact, God created us with emotions, and he also feels. God himself feels sad. He feels angry. He feels scared when people are perishing. If you look at the life of Jesus, Jesus wept, one of the shortest scriptures. He felt sadness. About anger, Jesus went to the temple and found people were selling stuff. He was angry. He overturned tables and chased out people. So God himself has emotions. Jesus has emotions. Fear, when Jesus was about to be crucified, in the Garden of Gethsemane, he didn't know what was coming ahead. He was fearful. He was scared. In fact, he cried out and said, if it were my will, I would wish that this is taken away from me. So he was scared. But what did he do? He processed. So don't hide your emotions. Don't ignore them. Don't manage them, because many times you're told manage your emotions. If you're to manage them, then process them so that you're not just hiding them. You're not putting them under the carpet. All right? Process them. All right? So wellness then can be achieved by taking responsibility for your emotions, and so that you're not blaming it on anyone. Secondly, process your emotions in a safe environment with someone. It is best to do it with someone. If you can do it alone, that's fine. But it's always good to have a friend, a mentor, a coach that you can process your emotions with. But lastly, seek for accountability in a life community where you can meet and begin to process things together, where you can be asked questions. So how are you dealing with the anger issues that you have had? How are you dealing with grief of losing your boyfriend or your girlfriend, of that relationship that you had? Seek accountability, all right? So my last scripture, John writes and tells his children, says, dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. That's a powerful scripture, because God wants you to have mental wellness. He wants you to be well. Dante.
I see. There are things that you've mentioned, hapo nyuma in the last slide, and I am thinking, when you say I need to look out at what has made me or has gotten me sad, and sad is caused by loss. So is it only loss of significant things, or could it be, for example, I have lost appetite? You know, small things like those, could that also affect, or do I need to be aware of such also? What kind of loss are we talking about here? Is it any loss, or loss that appears to like big loss?
Loss is a loss. Whether you have lost a pencil, whether you have lost hair, whether you have lost something significant in your life, something that is part of you. You have lost freedom. You can't go to town. I mean, like in this COVID-19 season, you can't do the things that you used to do. There's loss. And so you can't see the friends you used to communicate with, I mean, you used to hang out with. It's a loss. Yeah, you lose money, it's a loss. Anything that is part of you and that is significant, or someone that is significant, it elicits loss. And so you have to process that and ask yourself, what do I really want for myself? Because these things are a representation of deep needs in us. Okay? So when you want friends, they represent a need, maybe a need for affection, or a need for community, or a need for belonging, or a need for acceptance. So go deeper and find out, what is my real need?
Okay. So what happens? So what if I get the need? So what? I now realize that this is what I need. So what?
So once you know that this is what I need, then look at ways of getting that need in the best way possible, not in the wrong way. So look for justified ways, or legal ways, or moral ways of fulfilling those needs. Okay. For example, if I am feeling I need acceptance, and I am lonely, then call someone and just talk to them and tell them, I am feeling so lonely, or I feel like I am useless, and so just help me. And when you're called that way, you just need to look out for the good things in that person, so that you don't begin also to ignore and say, you get over it. But you look out, because if he's a friend of yours, then you know the best part. You know why you are friends. And so just bring out the best things. So when you feel that this is the need you have, call someone that can, in a sense, give you that kind of need without illegality or immorality. Okay. Right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense. It makes sense. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pas. It's amazing how we just started. It's an hour later. We need to end. But it's good to hear from you, Pasi. And I think at this point, I would want now to go into, because that lesson was basically to help us understand what could be happening to us. But I'm willing to listen or hear stories that are out there, because one way of getting over this is being in touch with what is happening. And if you're able to share it, with a group or with someone, even better. Watu wa Facebook, thank you very much, for joining us. And we would love to invite you next time, same place. But also, if you'd like to continue with this conversation on Zoom, let us know. Hapo hivyo, just comment and let us know that you would like to join the Zoom community, and we'll be willing to help you get in there. Watu wangu wa Zoom, I can see the comments. Thank you very much. So much to learn in just an hour.